Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lizzie, and welcome back to 101 Days of Horror. Obviously, yesterday we took a mini-ish break to do just like a top list film. If you have not seen that video, there will be a link somewhere in the description, probably popping up above. I also, new hair. It's not great looking. I just did it, but I'm happy with it. I gotta just touch it up a little. Anyway, for today's video, we are watching Deep Red. So, description of this film reads as: an English jazz pianist living in Rome witnesses the brutal hatchet murder of a renowned psychic and is quickly drawn into the savage crime. With the help of a female reporter, the pair track a twisted trail of deranged clues and relentless violence towards a shocking climax that has rippled screams from the throats of audiences for more than 40 years. So sounds very interesting. Love a good, crime-related horror. Obviously has, female-led horror film. So definitely, looking forward to this one, and hopefully it's as terrifying as it says. So, I have not heard of this one before until now, so I'm very interested. The cover shows a doll, hanging from a rope, so, yeah. I will just be back to let you guys know my thoughts, as per usual. Okay, so just finished, and yeah, I had a t-shirt change. Anyway, I just finished with watching Deep Red, and this is a intense one, guys. I'm surprised. This is another one I'm surprised I haven't heard of. There's things about it I liked, and there are things about it I didn't like. The deaths in this one are definitely pretty intense. I mean, they're pretty graphic, I feel like, even for today's time. So I can only imagine how graphic they probably were for that time. I mean, there's somebody who is basically drowned in, burning hot bath water, and her face is all, boiled and covered in blisters, and she doesn't, instantly die. I'm gonna kind of try to avoid spoilers with this one, but I mean, there's also a scene where a guy gets stuck on a hook hanging off of a garbage, not even truck, semi, and dragged for several feet. It gets pretty graphic in this film. I was very much surprised by that. That was one aspect of the film that I enjoyed, which always feels kind of weird to say, even though this is a horror channel. We're all horror fans here. There also something that I liked but didn't like at the same time was that they played around with music a lot with this film, which is great. If you are somebody who is big into scores, you'll probably really enjoy this film. The only problem that I had with that was that sometimes the music didn't quite match the scene, or it would go for too long. It would match what's happening, but then they just keep the same song going into the next scene, and it just didn't always exactly match what was going on. So that I wasn't a super big fan of either. I wish that they kind of would have waited a little bit. I feel like that could have been a little bit better, but I still did really enjoy the that use of music in the film. And one of the things that I wasn't a super big fan of was the fact that I was excited about this whole idea of this female reporter being involved, and she is barely in it, and they don't really explain too much about the fact that she's a reporter either, but she but her and this pianist kind of make this agreement at first that they're gonna work on this together. Pianist, it's he expected to be kind of taking the lead, and she kind of tried to take the lead on it, and so he's horribly sexist. He makes horrible comments to her, just about women, like, being less than, and so she's like, well, like, I thought we were gonna work together, and he, like, and she's just kind of like, haha, like, you're ridiculous. She's like, I can't believe that, like, you still have that old-timey thought. And I liked her from, like, what we get of her. She's very kind of, like, goofy. She, like, drives this, like, shitty rundown car that's, like, kind of breaking, and she's just very, like, kind of goofy, but, like, smart and tough, and she just kind of, like, doesn't allow the pianist to, I guess, like, bully her into, like, doing what he wants. And so when he's making these, like, sexist comments and she's just, like, blowing him off, they end up having an arm wrestling match, and she beats him, and he gets all angry and is like, I'm not gonna work with you anymore. And then instead of, you know, switching back and forth between the two of them, and him, like, realizing he, like, needs her or whatever to solve this crime, like, you're mainly focused on him throughout the rest of the film, and she pops up, like, a little, but you're just basically following this asshole of a guy throughout the most of the film, and she only really pops up a couple more times, and then she does show up more towards the end of the film, but she really has a very small part in this, which is just very disappointing. I will say, though, it does have a bit of a surprise ending as to who the killer is. They do reveal it. The only thing is they don't reveal the motive behind it, which I mean, I guess is okay. But you spend, you know, so much of the film with this, like, whodunit mentality, and of course you find out, which is great, but it would have been when you find out who the killer is, it would have been interesting to find out why they were killing the particular people that they were. That would have been nice for them to go into, and they don't. So there's, like, aspects of this film that are lacking a little bit, but for the majority of it, I did, like, really enjoy it. It is a very good film, and I do highly suggest checking out if you have not seen it. I actually watched the unrated version on Amazon. That might also be why it was so, like, graphic. I don't really obviously know the difference between the unrated and the rated version. That's the thing about Amazon Prime, and, like, it's just on there if you have an Amazon Prime account, is they have a lot of the unrated versions available to watch, but not the regular ones, which I think is interesting. It's just fine by me. I enjoyed this one as is. So if you have seen Deep Red, let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments below. If you did enjoy this, please do give a big old thumbs up, and make sure that you hit the subscribe button for more horror-related content. And before I go, a quick shout out to my Patreons. Thank you guys so much for helping to contribute to the channel. If you know the perks to being a Patreon, links are in the description below, along with all of my social media. And I will see you guys again tomorrow with another video. Bye!